Don't start a clothing brand until you watch this video till the end. I'm about to give you 3 reasons why you should not start a clothing brand. However, if you stay to the end, I'm gonna let you know exactly why you should start or you should keep pushing. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really easy to make some money. It's easy to make some sales, especially selling t-shirts that you don't really care what's on it. That's primarily what I've done over the past few years, selling on marketplaces such as Etsy and Amazon. However, we sell whatever t-shirt is trending, whatever is hot, a birthday t-shirt, Mother's Day t-shirt, Christmas tees, all of that and so on. However, it's really hard to make some sales and money in something that you're truly passionate about. And that leads me to reason number 1 why you shouldn't start a clothing brand. The fact that you're so passionate about whatever subject or niche this is, it's gonna take you a while to see the profit. You're so passionate about it, you're probably going to keep on reinvesting the profits all the way up until the brand gets to whatever point it may be. Let's say if you had a brand that had to do with something for kids with special needs. You're so invested into the brand that you're probably always going to be reinvesting the profits, probably into organizations that are nearby, or you'll probably end up creating a nonprofit for it. You're probably gonna go into so many ventures, and you're probably going to always give away merch to children with special needs, and the list just goes on. It don't matter what the subject or niche may be, you're probably always going to have to reinvest. And let's say even if it's something outside of this, you're always gonna have to reinvest to grow. Because the thing about entrepreneurship is the fact that we're probably never ever going to be satisfied, no matter how big the brand gets. And that's the crazy part. We want the brand to be the sky, right? The sky is the limit when it comes to building a brand. You're always going to be reinvesting into influencer marketing, typical advertising, TikTok ads, Facebook ads, and so on, because you're going to want to keep on growing. However, this is probably a really good thing because you're always gonna grow, but at the same time, you're gonna see that your money becomes smaller and smaller. Even though the sales get larger and larger, you're just going to keep on reinvesting. I can guarantee it, because that's the name of the game, growth. This video is brought to you by Ninja Transfers. Make sure you check them out for all your DTF transfer needs. Right here, I ordered a DTF gang sheet, which allowed me to put multiple designs on one sheet. This is great for production or even just creating samples so that you have an idea of what design that you want to create. So as you can see, I have the gang sheet. This is a Shockaware Coach windbreaker jacket made of nylon and polyester. So that's why I chose DTF. And as you can see, it went on there really nicely. And even the small text shows really well, and DTF transfers work really well with this material. So that's why I use Ninja Transfers. Just a disclaimer, I do not own ninjatransfers.com. I know you guys have been getting confused, but I've been using their transfers and it's been working out great. So make sure you check them out at ninjatransfers.com, or the link will be down below in the comments or the description. The second reason why you shouldn't start is because there's a lot of moving parts to it. In the beginning, it looks cool. You know, you get a design, you might be a creative. However, you might be a creative that has to turn into an entrepreneur or a business owner. And that's really harder than it looks. For a lot of creators, we just see the design aspect to begin with. We like the idea of being able to get our own custom garments, or creating a custom cut and sew piece, or just even getting a nice design screen printed onto a t-shirt. That's cool to begin with, but then we quickly realize there's more moving parts than just design. We start to realize there's logistics of shipping and fulfillment, and even finances become such a burden, and it becomes crazy. We have to find a way to keep on fueling our passion, our brand. We have to learn how to get better at marketing, creating content. We have to learn how to keep on just growing in general, and we have to dive more into business, and we have to learn about payroll. We have to learn about hiring employees. That's honestly a whole skill on its own, is learning how to hire the right person. That's why we end up with so many departments. We got HR, marketing, and so on, just because we wanted to slap a design on a t-shirt and we wanted to be creative. It's hard to start a brand just being a creative. You have to turn from a creative all the way up into an entrepreneur. And you know what? It ends up becoming one big old challenge. However, if you made it this far, I'm sure you're up for the challenge, but there's gonna be a lot of times where we get really discouraged and it's hard to keep on pushing. So that's going to be the second reason why you should not start a brand. Number 3, when it comes to starting a brand, there's a lot of distractions because you dive into a whole new industry, the apparel industry, the decorating industry, and it's so easy to get distracted because you see all these other ways of making money with all of the knowledge that you now learned. You got into screen printing because you learned how to create some t-shirts, but then you find out about brokering, and then you got a friend who just opened up a dentistry and they need t-shirts for their whole entire dentist office. And then you know what? You told them you could screen print t-shirts for them. That's a distraction. Although it is some money, it is pushing your brand one step back because you're focused on some other area of the industry. At the same time, you really gotta think, can you take that money and you can take that and fuel your brand? Yes, you can, but it is a distraction. You also find out about other things. You find out you're a good designer and all of a sudden someone else starts a brand and you let them know you could create their whole collection for them. You know what? That's gonna create you some digital money, but at the same time, it's a distraction. It's gonna put your brand one step back once again. There's so many distractions in this industry because there's so many ways to make money inside of it, which is cool, but really think about it. You gotta stay laser focused on building your brand. Even myself, I get distracted all of the time because you know what? I made a lot of money in different streams of this industry. Most of it came from marketplaces, Etsy, Amazon. A lot of it came from brokering, doing screen print jobs here and there. But I've always wanted to grow a brand truly. However, I keep getting distracted. However, this does lead me to my next point, which is although you may fail, because 90% of businesses fail across all industries, don't think this was a waste of time. Don't think this was a waste of money. Before I even got a really good break in this industry, I got into a tutorial business. I did some private label. I did a whole lot of reselling. I had a videography business. I was doing media. I did a whole bunch of different things. So don't think just because you fail in this segment of your life, think that this was a waste of time. This right now is just a part of your story. This is going to be something where you can use your experiences for something at a later point if you don't succeed in this arena. Now, let me tell you of one reason why you should keep pushing your brand or you should start. It's because of this one word right here, which is regret. There is one thing that I did when I got into the apparel game that I do regret. I built up a kids clothing brand called Escape Kids Clothing. And you know what? I kind of did it for fun because, you know, my kid at the time, I was just making clothes for him. I was posting on Instagram. And this was before Instagram even had the message button or even the email button. I was doing influencer marketing before I knew it was influencer marketing. I was reaching out to moms who were photographers and I was just asking them if they wanted some kids' clothes. And the reason why I was able to reach out to them was because of the fact that I would find their same username on Twitter, or sometimes they had their email posted in their bio for collabs. And at this point, although Instagram was in the game for a few years, this was roughly 2015, I was making around $2,000 to $3,000. Now, that might not sound like a lot compared to what I make now. However, I didn't really understand the power of that was the fact that I was able to make it on demand every time I sent out an email that we had a new drop and whatnot. However, I took it for granted because at the time on Etsy, I was doing anywhere between 15 to 20 grand per month. And you know, at that time, I thought that was pretty crazy. And I really thought I had somewhat of a higher control in that. You do have some aspect of a control when it comes to a marketplace, but you don't have that true power of that being your actual customer. And when it came to the brand, although it was making smaller amount of sales, if I would have held on to it all the way up until this day, then it would have been really crazy. But the thing is, I really gave up on it because I wanted to focus on one thing. However, that was kind of the short-term play. I should have went with the long-term play, which is what your brand is going to be. Your brand is going to be a really long-term play. You're not gonna know when it's really gonna pay off for you. But the more you put into it, the higher chance you have of having a really good break in it. And I can guarantee you one thing, if this is something that you were passionate about, and this is something you want to try and build, if you don't do it now, you're really gonna regret it. You're better off trying to build a brand and failing at it rather than growing old and wishing that you gave it a shot. You're better off trying and failing than never doing it at all. Don't forget to check out our sponsor for this video, which is ninjatransfers.com. Use the link down below. And if you haven't joined by now, we do have a private group where we do once a month coaching calls. There's been a lot of previous coaching calls. I'm live and active in this private group. It's hard for me to get to DMs and comments to answer y'all's questions. So for the people in the private group, I'm here to answer those questions, and as well as even whenever we do the monthly coaching calls. So make sure you click the link down below to join that as well. So if you enjoyed this video, my name is Rich. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.